I would like to request you all to kindly rise to honor the national anthems of Pakistan and China. This international conference is being organized to commemorate and celebrate 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Pakistan. And this conference is being attended online by viewers in Karachi, Lahore, and abroad. Let us begin today's event with the praise of the most merciful and the most benevolent.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. And your God is one God. There is no deity worthy of worship except Him, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
Ali Muhammad Khan Sahib, Honorable Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Masood Khan, former President, Azad Jammu and Kashmir, Vice Admiral Kaleem Shaukat, Hilal Imtiaz Military, Honorable Rector, Bahria University, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum, good morning and ni hao. I am Commodore Mahmoodur Rahman, the convener of this August Assembly, and it's my profound privilege and honor to welcome you all for the first ever hybrid international conference on Pakistan-Sino partnership, prospects and challenges in higher education collaboration. This conference shall not only be keenly watched in China and Pakistan, but has also considerable onlookers and viewership all over the globe through Bahria University's web TV. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan and China have a very long, cherished, and common history of friendship and brotherhood, which has been rock solid in substance, yet sweeter than honey in medium, that has stood against all the storms and the tempests for well over 7 decades. China has always backed Pakistan, for which each and every one of us feels so proud and elevated. The sphere of our comradeship has grown in all dimensions, be those military, economics, cultural, and more so, educational. My lexicon will run out of eulogies if I start counting the remunerations of this prodigious bonding. My colleagues in China during my 18-month stay at Shanghai would often say, Pakistan Chunghwa La Phangeo. Of late, the emergence of CPAC has initiated a new chapter in the concerted history of Pakistan and China. Numerous projects have been launched under the umbrella of the CPAC. Many of those completed, focusing at development of infrastructure, energy sector, and special economic zones. The objective is to ensure existence of a suitable environment that can enable better trade routes for this region and the world. This will ultimately contribute towards the core of CPAC, which is regional connectivity. But this connectivity can only be realized when dimension of this collaboration also encompass development of human resource, which will ultimately be carrying forward the execution of the activities in this region. In this regard, higher education is always considered as key towards development required human resource with the skill set which can contribute towards the development of any region. This is achieved through dissemination and creation of advanced knowledge through strong focus on research. Keeping the same in view, association between China and Pakistan has always encompassed elements that support academic ties between the two countries. This enables development of the capabilities in a partnership model to meet the emerging challenges and to come up with advanced technologies and skills that can support joint projects between the two countries. This conference will therefore focus on highlighting the potential and challenges of the academic collaboration between Chinese and Pakistani universities by exploring various streams of partnership that can be pursued to strengthen the academic ties. The conference will also enable participants to share and exchange ideas, experiences, opinions, and research results relating to collaborative models of education between Pakistan and China. The conference will be focusing on following sub-themes: Pak-Sino bilateral research partnerships engaging researchers, that is the faculty and the students as change agents, attaining long-term results through short-term exchange programs, development of PhD talent through split programs and scholarships, CPAC and cross-border industry academia linkages, collaborative professional training to bridge the knowledge gaps, role of Pak-China academic partnership towards attainment of the CPEC goals, commercialization of applied research through BICs and STPs of the partner universities, identification of challenges likely to be faced in HE collaboration, and the strategy to transform these into opportunities, and finally, academic and applied research in the maritime domain. Ladies and gentlemen, the main objectives of this conference are to provide Pakistan and Chinese academicians and practitioners a platform to present their knowledge and experience around potential of academic partnerships and how it can contribute towards regional development while highlighting the challenges involved. Instill knowledge and interest amongst the participants to actively pursue collaborative activities at the higher education level between Pakistan and China. And finally, enable Bahria University to develop a roadmap for its future academic and research pursuits with Chinese universities and their industries. The sub-objectives of the conference revolving around the conference themes include to highlight potential of Pak-Sino research collaboration towards regional development, explore the benefits of various short-term academic exchange activities between Pakistan and China, to evaluate contribution of scholarships and split degree arrangements towards the development of human resource, to highlight the benefits of industry-academia partnerships in the regional context, to discuss role of professional training by HEIs for benefits of academia and industry in Pakistan and China, to develop correlation between CPEC goals and academic cooperation between Pakistan and China. So the contemplated outcome of this conference will have the input from participants. This will be converted into collaborative plans highlighting areas of political, academic, and research collaboration between China and Pakistan. Through the panel discussions, guest talks, and paper presentations, challenges faced during partnership activities will be highlighted with possible solutions to overcome these challenges. Chinese and Pakistani universities will be given a platform to initiate discussions for potential academic and research collaboration. Conference proceedings incorporating aforementioned points will be shared with selected Pakistani and Chinese universities to facilitate their future strategy of academic and research collaboration.
Along with the enormous allocation of resources for CPEC, a major challenge is to produce the desired human resource to be able to take on the challenges and opportunities of this important project. In this regard, a major role is to be played by the higher education institutions of China and Pakistan to help produce human resource which has the potential and the vision to act as a catalyst in execution of CPEC and ensuring a sustainable future for the region in the longer run. This conference is an effort by Bahria University to identify the avenues of academic collaboration between Chinese and Pakistan higher education institutes to ensure development of effective human resource and to assess and deliberate upon mitigating the set of challenges in the way of the potential academic collaborations. Ladies and gentlemen, the themes of the conference are very well structured, and I hope that the presenters will be able to set the grounds for productive interactions and deliberations. I'll strongly encourage the participants of the conference to put in all their knowledge and skills into action, since outcome of this conference will turn into guiding principles for decision makers, academicians, researchers, as well as students. I'm confident that this conference will be a valuable addition to the subject course and will lead to many more such events in future. Ladies and gentlemen, China's rise as a popular destination for higher education has amazed many around the globe. Today, China is managing the world's largest higher education system with approximately 500,000 international students enrolled in higher education alone. Over the recent years, number of Pakistani students enrolled in Chinese universities has increased many-folds. Almost 30,000 Pakistani students are enrolled into different degree programs studying on self-reliance or through Chinese government scholarships. This extraordinary progress has been made possible through extensive investments by China in the higher education sector, establishing strong linkages between academia and industry, providing state-of-the-art labs and infrastructure, and consistent development of curriculum to meet the demands of the industry. China's investment into encouraging international students through scholarships has also played a critical role. Therefore, there is a great deal of learning for Pakistani higher education institutes, faculty and researchers in the Chinese model. Ladies and gentlemen, there are approximately 200 universities in Pakistan, with majority of them being as young as 20 years or so. The higher education sector of Pakistan has experienced boom after the formation of Higher Education Commission. However, aspects such as teaching methodologies, curriculum development, research, and upgradation of infrastructure still require greater attention. In this regard, Chinese universities can become benchmark for Pakistani higher education institutes. A close collaboration between Chinese and Pakistani universities in areas of establishment of industry-academia linkages, research, trainings, and exchange programs is needed to remain abreast with the latest trends in higher education. Alhamdulillah, Bahria University has academic partnerships with 10 Chinese universities in fields of maritime sciences, engineering sciences, medical and business studies. Many of our scholars are enrolled in PhD programs at Chinese universities. Our university has set up a dedicated Chinese language lab to assist students in learning the Chinese language so as to support their academic and business pursuits. Bahria University is also among the few Pakistani universities to have a Pak-China Studies Center. This is a clear reflection of our dedication towards strengthening our academic ties with Chinese universities, and we are focused to further increasing and expanding the scope of our partnerships in years to come. In the end, I would like to once again thank our honorable guests, participants, and audience for their valuable time. I would also like to appreciate the organizers for their dedication in making this conference a reality. I am confident that the conference will achieve its objectives through active participation by the speakers and the audience, and will enable us to come up with pertinent recommendations for the policymakers. I wish you best of luck in your academic endeavors. Thank you very much.
We are really privileged to have with us His Excellency Mr. Moeenul Haq, Ambassador of Pakistan to China, who has joined us online. Mr. Moeenul Haq also has served at key positions in Pakistani missions to various countries, including Belgium, Canada, France, Sri Lanka, Turkey, and USA. I would like to request His Excellency Mr. Moeenul Haq to enlighten us by delivering his keynote speech.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Minister Ali Muhammad Khan Sahib, Master His Excellency Masood Khan Sahib, former President of AGK, former Ambassador of Pakistan to China, and my very dear respected senior colleague, Vice Admiral Kaleem Shaukat Sahib, Pro-Rector of Bahria University's Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be participating in this international conference on an important theme of educational cooperation between China and Pakistan. First of all, I would like to thank the Bahria University and its leadership and management for organizing this seminar and giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts. I fully endorse the sentiments expressed earlier, especially by the Pro-Rector also, about the special and unique nature of China-Pakistan bilateral relationship. Having myself served in China for the last 1 year as ambassador, and having worked very closely with the two governments, both in Islamabad and Pakistan, for strengthening this relationship, I can say with conviction that our all-weather strategic partnership is poised to enter into a new high level of engagement and high-quality cooperation for building a Pakistan-China shared community in the new era. To achieve this, we have full support of the leadership of our two countries, enterprises and institutions, and of course, the people of our two countries. In this year, marking a milestone of 70 years of our bilateral relation, our cherished friendship, paving the way for establishing institutional linkages between our universities and academic institutions. In 2006, both countries signed an MOU on vocational training. Currently, the embassy is working on drafting a new protocol to include new areas of digital manufacturing, 3D technologies, e-commerce, and robotics. Ladies and gentlemen, over the years, China has become largest destination of Pakistani students. Currently, there are nearly 28,000 Pakistani students enrolled in various Chinese universities in different programs at different levels. This is becoming an important resource for not only forging closer, friendly cultural and people-to-people ties between our two countries, but also building a pool of experts and new talent that could be used in developing development projects. For instance, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the main purpose of giving this brief background of China-Pakistan educational cooperation and some details of Embassy's new initiative was just to highlight the importance and benefits of cooperation in this important area of education, science, technology, and innovation. China, as you all know, has now become a world leader in high-tech, basic and applied research and innovation. It is currently #1 in artificial intelligence in terms of publication of research and new patents. #1 in Asia in digitalization. E-commerce. It is now leading country in the world, much advanced than US and Europe. Last year, the total transaction in China through e-commerce platform was around $2 trillion, double than what was achieved in US and Europe combined. It's an important area for developing our own trade in this largest market in the world. And of course, in agriculture and technical vocational training, it is one of the leading country in the world. In Pakistan, too, the government is giving importance to these areas. The launch of Digital Pakistan initiative is a very welcome and right step. The record increase in Pakistan's software exports to nearly $2 billion in the last financial year, and the recent significant fundraising by Pakistani startups have shown that the potential of our IT industry and our software engineers. So given the right and enabling environment, I'm sure that our people and institutions could do wonders. In this regard, our cooperation with China assumes greater significance. This seminar, with its thematic sessions on applied research, marine sciences, geology, CPAC, earth and geosciences, would certainly help in bringing right focus on the prospects and the challenges as well. In the end, let me make a few observations and give some recommendations as well. First of all, as you know, Pakistan and China have, in the course of years, have entered into a lot of MOUs and agreements. We have 2 big volumes of these MOUs which have been done in the last 70 years. But as you know, that implementation and follow-up is extremely important. Signing an MOU is just 10% of the effort. The real challenge is follow-up and implementation. So we have requested, and I've requested my colleagues to do a review of all these MOUs with precisely this objective to identify the areas, the projects that needs to be follow-up for practical implementation of these MOUs. And that goes for all our agreements, MOUs between the 2 educational institutions of our 2 countries as well. Educational institutions have to allocate additional funding and create a climate and culture of research. China, in the recent years, have doubled, tripled their R&D budgets for their academic institutions and other enterprises also. Thirdly, we need to upgrade our capacities, the universities in Pakistan, for international cooperation. I think some of them have some international departments, but they lack, I would say, better human resource to carry out this cooperation with universities abroad in a very meaningful manner. Fourthly, as we know, that CPAC has become a very important and game changer project for Pakistan. In phase 2 of CPAC, we are now focusing on industrialization. So I would recommend the universities in Pakistan to establish linkages with CPAC related industries to build the relevant capacities and skills accordingly so that they could benefit from the job opportunities which are going to arise in the next few years and future. We are establishing, as you know, special economic zone, and many Chinese manufacturers and factories are coming to set up there. So the universities can get together to develop a job bank for Pakistani students in this regard.
Respected Vice Admiral Karim Saukat, Rector Bahria University, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good morning. First of all, on behalf of the Chinese Embassy in Pakistan, I would like to extend my warm congratulations to the successful opening of the International Conference on Pak Sino Partnership, Prospects and Challenges in Higher Education Collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, this year marks the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Pakistan. Over the past 7 decades, China and Pakistan have always supported each other in core interests and major concerns. With mutual respect, mutual trust, equality, and mutual benefit, China and Pakistan have established all-weather strategic cooperative partnership, which is unique in the world. China-Pakistan friendship is time-tested and rock-solid. After the implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative and CPEC projects, cooperation and exchanges in the fields of political, economy, military, security, culture, education, health, and social livelihood are expanding in full swing, which in turn consolidate this ironclad friendship. China and Pakistan share will and woe, and always give each other full support when most needed. Since outbreak of COVID-19, Pakistan has fully supported China fighting against the pandemic. China has made Pakistan a priority in vaccine assistance and export, which is a great help for the vaccination in Pakistan. China will continue to support Pakistan in improving its national health system, help to reduce the negative impact of the pandemic on socio-economic development. China firmly opposes politicizing COVID-19 origin tracing and stigmatizing China in this regard. The international community should unite and strengthen cooperation on the fight against the pandemic in an effort to build a community of health for all. Over the past 7 years, China and Pakistan have enjoyed high-level political mutual trust, mutual benefit in economic cooperation, and close people-to-people contracts. Cooperation between the two countries is fruitful. CPEC has drawn a total of $25.4 billion investment from China. China has become the biggest trading partner of Pakistan for 6 consecutive years and the largest source of foreign investment for 7 consecutive years. CPEC has served as a powerful engine for the sustainable economic and social development of Pakistan. CPEC has also brought more chances for culture and education cooperation. The CPEC University Consortium has strengthened the mechanism and enriched the connotation of the exchanges and cooperation in higher education sector. We welcome students from Pakistan to study in China. The annual number of Pakistani students in China has reached 28,000, among whom 7,000 obtained Chinese scholarships. China and Pakistan have collaborated to establish 5 Confucius Institutes, 2 independent Confucius classrooms, and 1 China Culture Center in Pakistan. 8 universities in China have opened Urdu or Pashto language majors. More and more Chinese research centers have been set up in Pakistan, while more and more Pakistan research centers are opened in China. All these exchanges and cooperation are conducive to better understanding of each other, mutual learning from each other, and further promotion of people-to-people connection. The forthcoming October 1st will mark the 72nd anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. Over the past 72 years, under the strong leadership of the Communist Party of China, the Chinese people have made unremitting efforts to achieve the prosperity of the Chinese nation and the progress of human civilization. On July 1st this year, at the ceremony in celebration of 100th anniversary of the founding of the CPC, Chinese President Xi Jinping solemnly declared that through the continuous efforts of the CPC and the entire nation, China had realized the first centenary goal of building a modernly prosperous society in all respects. Chinese socio-economic development has entered a new historical period, marching on a new journey to build a modern socialist country and realize the second centenary goal. China's rapid development is not possible without the huge contribution of education. We appreciate Pakistani government's concept of placing emphasis on higher education. China is ready to work with Pakistan to deepen cooperation in higher education and wish to play a constructive role in Pakistan's transformation from geopolitical to geoeconomic strategy. COVID-19 has no doubt brought some negative impact to Sino-Pak higher educational exchanges and cooperation. Yet this will not last too long. I have full confidence that when the pandemic is over, the bilateral exchanges and cooperation in all aspects will be booming. I hope all the guests and scholars at this conference can share your valuable opinions and suggestions. Let's make concerted efforts to strengthen the cooperation in higher education and push forward to build a closer China-Pakistan community with shared future. I wish this conference a complete success. Thank you.
Mr. Masood Khan is a Kashmiri diplomat who served as the 27th President of Azad Kashmir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Honorable Ali Muhammad Khan, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs. Honorable Admiral Kaleem Shaukat, Rector of Bahria University. Your Excellency Moinul Haq, Pakistan's Ambassador to China. Excellency Nungrung, People's Republic of China's Ambassador to Pakistan. And Commodore Mahmood Rahman, Director of the Pakistan-China Studies Center. Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everybody. Good afternoon probably in Beijing, but it's my pleasure to talk to you today. First of all, I want to congratulate the Bahria University for organizing this webinar. It's very timely, it's very substantive, it's very important. And I think that Bahria University has been quite active in promoting Pakistan-China relations. And this is yet another step that it has taken to interface Pakistan's academic world with the ongoing economic cooperation between the two countries, between China and Pakistan. I also want to compliment our ambassador in China, Mr. Moinul Haq, for his seminal contribution to strengthening the ties between our two countries. And during his watch, I think that the Pakistan-China relations have not only been cemented, but have been taken to a higher level of performance and productivity. So congratulations to you. Mr. Nungrong, a Chinese ambassador, has also given a very positive report. So all these signals are very reassuring for those who are watching Pakistan-China relations with a keen interest. Now, let me touch on a few themes because most of the area has already been covered by Mr. Moinul Haq. I was not able to listen to the entire presentation of Mr. Nungrong, but the bits and pieces that I could catch, he's also given a picture of an upward ascending curve of our relations, including in the academic field. So this is, as I said, very reassuring. Now, some themes that I want to touch on. One is that higher education exchanges or exchanges in the field of higher education between Pakistan and China should be directly proportionate to the level of our bilateral relationship. Now, as you know, that the bilateral relationship between Pakistan and China has been advancing by leaps and bounds, as it would be said, because, you know, if you look back, I mean, 2 decades back or 3 decades back, our economic cooperation and overall holistic cooperation between China and Pakistan has taken quantum jumps. So I think, but in the area of higher education, although there has been a relationship between the two countries, it has not reached the optimum level, although impressive strides have been made in that direction. So my first theme is that there should be a proportionality between our bilateral relationship and higher education exchanges and investment in higher education in Chinese universities and Pakistani universities. Second, I would say that something that we started back in the period when I was the ambassador, that we should teach Chinese language in Pakistan, in schools, in professional colleges, and also in universities, because it makes a difference. Chinese are bilingual because they speak English, which is the lingua franca here in Pakistan, and Pakistan uses English as official language and as the academic language. So there's a link already, but I think teaching Chinese language in Pakistan brings the two countries closer. And I think that this also became a growth industry. I can tell you that in many universities and colleges and schools, Chinese is being taught. Probably it's one of the most popular languages in Pakistan right now. I can tell you that in the United States of America, Chinese is the topmost foreign language that has been taught there in the universities. So we should not lag behind. Now, the third point that I want to make is that there should be cultural exchanges between the two countries, because it creates an enabling environment for doing business, for doing academic research together. And that is very important. I think that over these years we have tried to promote cultural exchanges, but they haven't reached the level that we have aimed for. One of the reasons, of course, in the recent past is the COVID-19 pandemic. But even before that, I think that we have to take cultural exchanges to the optimum level. I know that both the embassies have been working very hard, and they have made these plans, and all these cultural exchanges or people-to-people contact that we mentioned, it has been reflected in all the communiques and joint statements that have been issued by the leadership of the two countries. Now, as far as Pakistan is concerned, at this stage of development, our scholars should be interested in such fields as engineering, I would say, and hydraulic engineering. Why hydraulic engineering? Because Pakistan and China are investing here in Pakistan in hydropower projects, also aerospace technology, satellite technology. I think that biosciences, biotechnology, I would also add to that new technologies like artificial intelligence has been mentioned, blockchain, Internet of Things, 3D technology, robotics, cryptocurrency, for instance. We have to understand the impact of cryptocurrency in the near future and digital currency, and I want to congratulate China for starting digital yuan, and this would revolutionize the international monetary system, international fiscal and monetary systems. Construction industry. I mean, construction industry, as we know, there's a huge construction going on in Pakistan, and China has specialized in construction. I think that Ambassador Moinul Haq mentioned Huawei and other 5G technologies. Telecommunications is another field which must be explored by our scholars and students. And we have developed some joint defense platforms. And so investment in the academic side of those disciplines is also very important. Pakistan, something which is relevant directly to the Bahria University, and I think they've produced some books on blue economy for Pakistan. And China has a vast experience in transforming China's seas and oceans into a blue economy, not only for China, but under the banner of BRI for the entire Asia-Pacific region. So we can learn a lot from China. Now, another point that I want to raise is that the China-Pakistan economic corridor and higher education must be integrated because we know that CPEC is reshaping production, businesses, livelihoods, and supply chains in Pakistan. And we are witnessing an exponential growth in these areas. Now, as far as Azad Kashmir is concerned, we have 5 universities there, and I was the chancellor of these universities, the public sector universities. And many graduates from China are now teaching in these universities, and they're proud of having been educated in China. In cutting-edge disciplines. Their degrees are in cutting-edge disciplines. And they are also part of the workforce in one form or the other. Now, these universities, I can tell you that when I was chancellor of these universities, we made it a point that these universities held seminars to understand the phenomenon of China-Pakistan economic corridor and its impact on the job market, on our businesses and so on, so that they could prepare graduates for disciplines which would enable them to be absorbed in the markets after they have graduated. I would say that Pakistani ambassadors in China, they have been pursuing, amongst others, educational diplomacy. I know that Ambassador Moinul Haq is in close touch with the Chinese universities, and this is the best way to attract talent from China to Pakistan, and also to persuade our scholars to go to Chinese universities to enroll there. And as it has been mentioned, that I think it was Ambassador Nungrum or Ambassador Moinul Haq, they mentioned that the number of students in China right now is 28,000, and it's increasing. So China is a popular destination for education. So we must intensify our educational diplomacy. Now, we have to do, there has to be an outreach campaign towards students in academia to convince them to look east and to get interested in getting education in China. This is very important. In this context, I would mention that twinning of the universities. For instance, I think that the University of Tsinghua University and NUST are intertwined. And this creates an environment, a new ecosystem for collaboration. And now the number has increased. There was this ComSats. They had relationship with Peking University and many others. And what they would do is that they would hold these business forums every year. And this would not only bring scholars or the scientists and technologists from both sides under one roof, because they would hold these business forums, but they would also bring in businesses so that they can really work in an environment which is interoperable. Now, so I think that that field holds many promises, and we must pursue that. I think joint scientific and technological projects should be pursued. I know that many are being pursued. More should be added. That creates a relationship between the higher education institutions in Pakistan and their counterparts in China. China Center, and today this event has been organized by the China Center, Pak China Studies Center. These are these nuclei, or the these centers that create a kind of relationship, they solidify that relationship, they promote understanding about Pakistan and China. And this is very helpful. Now, there is also, as I said, that there's been this change in mindset. I mean, previously, most of the students from Pakistan, they would go to the Western universities, to the United Kingdom, to the European universities, but mostly to the United States. But that trend is changing. I mean, when I used to be in China, must be the case in China now, on Mr. Moinul Haq's watch. You go to Xinjiang, to their professional colleges, medical colleges and engineering colleges, and you'd find a huge Pakistani student population there. Also in Beijing and Sichuan and many other areas, you would find these Pakistani students going there. They are self-financing students and also students going on scholarships. Now, this change is very, very welcome, because China has moved ahead with speed and precision and has become the second largest economy in the world. I think in terms of solvency, it is probably the largest economy in the world, because China's nominal GDP is $14 trillion, and the United States is probably 19 or 20 trillion. But China is not in heavy debt, as a matter of fact, domestic or multilateral. And therefore, it has become, in a very short span of time, 2 decades, probably 3 decades, the second largest or the largest economy in the world. And in that sense, it gives a model to Pakistan. Of course, I mean, China has pursued socialism with Chinese characteristics, and we have a different system. What I'm suggesting is not a blind imitation of the Chinese model, but in fact, this point that I want to make here in this context is that we need to catch up. I mean, we need to catch up with China also. It's not simply that Pakistan and China are close friends and they have these very cordial relationships at the level of the leaders and at the level of the people, that our educational ecosystems are completely compatible. No, China has gone ahead. And therefore, we must try to cement this relationship with China, because if we have these small nests within the academic world in China today, our future generations would benefit from them. And they would not be treated as aliens. Why do I use the word alien? Because what happens is that if you're left behind, then it is very difficult to catch up. Now, here we have a strategic advantage because we have a very, very hospitable environment in China, hospitable academic environment, and we should make the most of this environment. Another point that I want to highlight is that many of the Chinese universities, I know Fudan, Peking University, also Tsinghua, numerous universities there are teaching postgraduate and doctoral courses in English. And many of them are twinned with the American universities. And Chinese degrees are recognized all over Europe and the United States of America. As a matter of fact, in United States and China, while you see this volatility in their political and strategic relationship, there's a talent hunt from China. I mean, every year, Americans and Europeans send people to China to somehow attract Chinese professionals to the American universities and to the American market. So I would say that we should have, as I use the word, we should have a nest, and we should have more nests in China. Now, my last point is that we should continue to strengthen these relationships, and I want to highlight one more point, and that is that the degrees in China compared to the degrees in the West are affordable to Pakistani academics and to Pakistani professionals. Also, they're affordable to Pakistani universities. I mean, degrees in the West are very, very expensive. And in fact, we find it difficult to get enrollment for our students in basic sciences, in such disciplines as physics or mathematics or these subjects which can somehow contribute to the strengthening of Pakistan's nuclear capability. For years, doors have been shut on Pakistani students and professionals which even remotely strengthen our nuclear capability. In the West, I mean, there's this wall that has been erected. So I would say that because of these obvious self-evident advantages, we should invest more heavily, more aggressively in Pakistan-China educational collaboration. And I think that we are moving in the right direction. Looking back, I can tell you that we have really advanced with speed and precision, and that we have produced results on the ground. And this is where I stop, and I thank the Bahria University for organizing this webinar, and it was a pleasure to listen to the speakers who preceded me.
Thank you, Honorable Guest of Honor, His Excellency Mr. Masood Khan. Thank you indeed, sir, for enlightening us on the topic of Pak-Sino partnership based on your vast diplomatic experience, especially in the context of Pak-China relationship. It is our honor to have Mr. Ali Muhammad Khan, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, as our chief guest. Mr. Ali Muhammad Khan is member National Assembly from KPK. Mr. Khan is a lawyer and politician who is pursuing his political career and is working on the post of State Ministry for Parliamentary Affairs. With this brief introduction, may I have the honor to request the chief guest to address this august gathering.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Verily, Allah the Almighty, one of the attributes based upon which He gave preference to the humans vis-a-vis the angels was knowledge. And that conversation is recorded in our holy book, that is Quran, in which Allah said that I'm going to depute my deputy on the planet Earth. And the angels had a sort of a conversation with the Almighty that this creation which you want to create will create mischief on the planet Earth and will spread bloodshed. Then Allah said that no, you don't know what He is capable of, and that is knowledge. When He asked the angels about the names of few things, they could not answer. And when the Almighty asked Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Adam, he responded with knowledge. And that was the basis of superiority of a human being over all other beings. Knowledge is the basis. And that was the first message which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khatam Nabi, received in the cave of Hira. It was not La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. if a person doesn't recite this kalma, you cannot become a Muslim. But no, the importance of knowledge is so much that the first verse which came was Iqra bismi rabbika allazi khalaq. Read, recite, learn in the name of Allah, learn. So this is something which should have been the hallmark of the Muslim Ummah. And since we are not focused on education and knowledge in true sense of word, so we are suffering for the last around 1,000 years. I would like to appreciate Bahria University for taking this initiative, and I'm really happy to be part of this webinar. Though I feel a bit strange to be called the chief guest in the presence of such a galaxy of scholars and great personnel of academia and politics as well, especially when I've seen Masood Khan Sahab. So first of all, I would like to say special salams to him. And in my heart of hearts, he'll always be my president of Azad Jammu and Kashmir, because he's a person in whom I had always seen how a statesman, a Kashmiri statesman has to be, because he knows the intricacies of statesmanship. And I would also like to condole with him, though I went to Azad Kashmir previous week, and I had the opportunity of attending that special session of the Legislative Assembly of Azad Jammu and Kashmir in the honor of late Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani, whom I call Baba-i Hurriyat. And then we had special prayers for him there, but I missed him there in Azad Kashmir. I had the opportunity of taking part in a few programs regarding Pakistan and Kashmir cause. So, aapse bahut zyada ta'ziyat hai ji. Allah Ta'ala Gilani sahab ki maghfirat kare. So coming back to the topic, I would say that Bahria University has taken this initiative at a very, very right time. Because though we talk about having very strong and cordial relations with China, which there are for the last around 6-7 decades, but I feel that we need to increase the people-to-people contact. This is the feeling of me, not as a politician, but as a person who belongs to community of engineering and law and student community, and I had the opportunity of addressing many student seminars and symposiums and conventions where I feel that there is still that trend. And I'm not discouraging anybody to go to West, though, as I myself have a degree of law from University of London. Long history of people who investors for education, like when this whole project of CPEC will become a game changer, not only for Pakistan and the countries in the vicinity, especially China. And I have also, the other day, I read some statement on behalf of the Afghan Taliban, that they also want to become, and they play their role in CPEC. If they come and if they become part of CPEC, I would like to encourage them. If Afghanistan also becomes, as a state, as a nation, they become part of CPEC, that will be a great, great success for the people and state of Pakistan. That will be also very encouraging if peace and stability comes to the region. So in these changing circumstances, when we got the message thousands of years ago, around 1400 years ago, from our holy prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khatam Nabeen, when he said that seek knowledge, there are two very famous sayings of him, the gist of which is that one is seek knowledge from cradle to the grave. And the second one is that seek knowledge even if you have to go to China. So when the holy prophet, the final of the prophets, when he was there in Medina Munawwara, when he was residing in the Arabian Peninsula, so the knowledge of Deen and the knowledge of Quran and the knowledge of Allah, all those things which were concerning Sharia were with him. So there was no need for him to send people to China. So it meant the message was that you must also get worldly knowledge. And for that you have to travel. The purpose signifying China was not only restricting us to go to China. The message was that in those times, going to China was like going to the moon. It was such a farther place. And so the message was that we must seek knowledge. A Muslim is bound to seek knowledge, as it is also his hadith that knowledge and wisdom is the lost heritage or inheritance of a Muslim, may that be a boy or a girl. So in these circumstances, I think we need to increase our cooperation with China. And in this respect, not only government-to-government cooperation is required, which is increasing day by day, But these endeavors of university to university relations, they are so strong that if we can build upon these relations, like if there are university to university collaborations and student sifting and shifting programs where they can collaborate with each other, Chinese students coming to Pakistan and our students going there, as Masood Sahab also and many of the other participants would have signified this, that comparing the education standards with the West, I think they are not lagging behind in any respect, because China is one of the success stories of the recent human history. In 1948, they got their independence a year later than us, and look at them now, they are economic giants, probably the up-and-coming superpower. So we must learn from the Chinese model, not to forget our basics, but we must learn from them, and we must take advantage from them. And I think the Chinese can learn from us as well. We have got great institutions, we have got great engineering universities, as my engineering university in Peshawar, one of the best in the country, University of Engineering and Technology, Peshawar. We have Taxila University, we have NED, we have Ghulam Isa Khan University, we have NUST, and then we have LUMS for business education, and we have medical institutes of great stature. Of my own city of Peshawar, is the Khyber Medical University now, which was famously KMC before, and then you have King Edward Medical College and so many others. So I think in the end, I would like to conclude with these final remarks that we must look eastwards now. And we must not only, claim tall, we must not only restrict ourselves to making tall claims of great relations with China. Yes, they are. But for that, we have to increase the people-to-people, student-to-student relations. We must also encourage people to visit China, and we must also encourage them to visit Pakistan, especially our northern areas. We must encourage their students to come here for some programs for a week or two, training sessions here, a visit to northern areas coupled with a visit to Lahore, Karachi, which is the heart of Pakistan, Lahore, and Karachi, which is the economic hub. We must also encourage them to come and see and visit Gwadar and the prospects of the students learning from their own country and coming here to Pakistan and investing. So these are all endeavors in which I think our academia, our scholars, they can play a great role. And I myself, being a person who still don't know if I'm a man belonging to the academia or a person who is now a part of political structure, I am sort of, a person who is running from one post to the other in the two main fields. So I would like to encourage all of you and appreciate you. And I would like also to tell you that, inshallah, Government of Pakistan, under the leadership of Mr. Imran Khan Sahab, who himself is a great advocate of teaching, education. Before coming to government, he established a great university, a great step taken by him in his own ancestral area of Miawali. The establishment of Namal University is a signification of the mind of the person that he believes in moving forward through pen. And in the end, I would like to end with an advice of my late teacher, Mr. Abdullah Jan Sani Sahab. I got great, I had the good fortune of being in contact with great teachers throughout my life. And one of them was Mr. Abdullah Jan Sani Sahab, who was an advocate High Court. And the message he gave to me regarding education was that he told me in Pashto, which is my ancestral language, translation of which he said is that seek knowledge and learn and read books. Read books, my son, that will make you exemplary among your contemporaries. The message of me from my side to my younger brothers and sisters who may be listening to us and to all the children of Pakistan, that the way forward is pen, the way forward is education, the way forward is book, because the person who gave us this great country, the great land of pure Pakistan, he was also a man of pen. He was a barrister, he was a constitutional lawyer, and he was a person who believed in the sanctity of knowledge. Thank you so much. I wish you best of luck. Aap sabka bahut bahut shukriya.
I am thankful to all the guests and participants of this ceremony. Especially, I am extremely thankful to our chief guests and worthy keynote speakers for joining us online and making today's opening ceremony a memorable one with their kind presence. Thank you.